systems, payroll systems, scheduling engines. I mean, there's a whole suite of applications over there where we need. I mean, there's a lot of data over there, and we can, if we were to integrate them using like Boomi platform, since it's a cloud platform, we can have lot of energy and output from that application. So this presentation explores how integrating Boomi as a leading iPaaS solution with Kronos Workforce Central and Dimensional. So Central is a on-premise, Dimensions is a cloud application, right? This enhances real-time data synchronization, scheduling accuracy, and compliance tracking in large-scale manufacturing
Excuse me,
operations.
Abdul.
Yes, sir.
Can you share your screen, please?
I thought I'm sharing. I'm very sorry about that. I was sharing, I was pointing to the screen. Okay, here we go.
Yep,
This
it's
is
perfect.
presentation. Perfect. Thank you. All right. All right. So this presentation explores how integrating Boomi, a leading iPaaS solution, with Kronos Workforce Central and Dimensions enhances the real-time data sync, scheduling accuracy, and compliance. Going to the next slide. Now, this is a basic Venn diagram that shows how we have employee records in the HRIS system. Then we have payroll, where we have primarily how they are paid, like wages and time, and then we have the scheduling engines where you have shifts and overtime, absences, PTO, and stuff. Right now, these are all disconnected. Data is in different silos that needs to be connected because if we don't have that, we have inconsistent employee records coming through, and then we have manual processes that increase errors and administrative overheads, delays in adapting to shift changes, time offs, and employee availability. And then we have limited visibility into real time as to what's happening in terms of metrics and compliance status. Right? Problem statements. The organization face significant efficiencies due to the siloed nature of workforce systems, right? For example, Kronos is for timekeeping and scheduling, HRS is for employee data, payroll is for compensation and processing. Now, again, the entire domain I'm talking about is the HR and HRIS from hire to fire of an employee, right? Then the lack of integrated integration resulted in disjointed data flows, manual reconciliations where you have to come back and manually print reports from the different systems and tally your results, and then we have delayed shift updates and inaccurate schedule reflections. Then we have increased compliance risk due to lack of synchronization. One of the major compliance risk is that you are not going by the Department of Labor guidelines, because you don't know where the employee is or in what department he is working at a given point of time, because you have to what you say refer to multiple applications, and that's time consuming. And okay, as workforce operations scaled, fragmented data sources across HRIS, Kronos, payroll created inefficiencies. Earlier in the day, back in the day, long back, like 10, 20 years before, there used to be just one application, like the mainframe system. It used to handle everything. But now every application has a specialty, and we want to what you say have multiple applications that specialize in that. A very good example is our iPhone itself, right? You open your iPhone, you have hundreds of applications over there, right? But why? Because each an application is very specific and very good in what it does. So the same way, the same thing happened to the HRIS system, right? Um, so Boomi's now the approach that we are going through is like the Boomi's low code approach. It's API driven integration platform, and it offers a flexible, a cloud based solution to synchronize and unify things. And then we have Kronos provides comprehensive labor tracking and scheduling tools, but it lacks seamless interoperability with the other system. Now, I want to pause here and say that I have been working on Kronos technology for the last like 17 years. I have seen the various situations where the issues that come out of the system. It's a good system, but then you have all these issues because since there is no interoperability between the different systems, you see these issues very often. So the proposed architecture, as you can see from the screen, I propose is that we have to define the connectors that basically connect and translate everything to the Boomi mid layer. Now again, Boomi is the cloud platform, so the connectors have to be security compliant. Basically, right? For example, everything has to be encrypted and SFTP and the OAuth layer, or what have you. Everything that is that has to deal with the cloud security has to be implemented, right? And then we have the data flow. Now the key components are, we have the Boomi Atom. Now the Boomi Atom is a lightweight runtime engine that is deployed in a hybrid environment for secure on cloud execution. Then we have connectors. Most of these are pre-built for the major vendors. We have SAP, we have Workday, we have even Amazon S3 and all that stuff, right? So for the major vendors, the Boomi application has pre-configured connectors which we can use. And then we have Kronos central APIs, and then we have the payroll engines. uh, then we have the process library. Obviously, we are going by the OOPS concept here. We have a whole bunch of routines which we can write in a generic fashion, and that can be reused all over the place. And then we have the API. Now it's the world of the REST APIs. Back in the day, 10 years before, it was all SOAP APIs. Now it's all REST APIs. Yeah. So Boomi is REST API compliant. It does support SOAP also, but it's been very rare that I have used a SOAP call in the last few years. Mostly I use uh, REST these days. And then security layer, most commonly we use OAuth 2 token, because now we have like the uh, MFA kind of a thing that comes up. You get a token on your phone, or you have that authenticator, or some app, right, to which you have to authenticate. So that's why OAuth is pretty prevalent these days. And then we have retry for queries, alerts, and fallback mechanisms. Data flow. Now, data flow is again straightforward thing. Since we are talking standard integration, we have employee profile data, for example, new hires, termination, transfers, everything is synced into real time. And then we have Boomi normalized fields, department codes and classifications. So this is for the translation, right? For example, you don't want to, as a system, you don't want to give me your social security number. You would want to you are very happy to share your employee ID, right? So at some point I have to do the translation that this employee has this employee number maps to this employee, kind of a thing, right? So that kind of normalization should happen. And then we have downflow, sorry, data stream flow. uh, we have the information which flows as time cards, attendance logs, and absence records. And then we have schedules, schedule adherent and actual worked hours. So, for example, only if you have a schedule, then you would know, right? For example, if I'm scheduled to work on a Monday or on a Sunday and I don't come, then I can flag, and the application flag that as an absence, right? So schedules are important in determining the absences. And then you have the bidirectional sync. I mean, it should work both ways. If I as an employee am absent, they should this information should be sent to a third party system that handles absence. So for example, if I am sick, right? So I may be eligible for FMLA pay. If I'm sick, I am eligible for a short term disability. So that kind of eligibility criteria should be evaluated somewhere else. So it has to be a two-way mechanism. And upstream, if I am absent, then enough information should be available with the manager or the organization, so that they can uh, substitute my shift with somebody else. right? And then you have field level mapping, right? Now, this is the low level stuff that includes data dictionaries and validation logics. Um, this is a quick overview of the technical framework. As you can see, we have integration protocols. Like I said, mostly we use REST and OAuth2 these days. And then you have the execution layer. Now, this is a predefined execution layer that has the atom, and then you have the queries and retry mechanism, and you have the entire development suite over here, right? And then you have the security compliance on the right side. You will see that it's a field level. Now, again, right, security is not a new thing for us. We know that it has to do with encryption. It has to follow the government standards. We have SOX, we have SOC 2, we have HIPAA. HIPAA is mostly a healthcare thing, right? And then you have audits, right? Who has access to the information and who has accessed it in the past. It's a part of security requirements these days. And then you have the data validation and resilience, right? We want to remove noise. We want to I apologize for the spelling error in my PowerPoint. It's validation rules is error alerts, and then you have fallback processes, right? Um, and then implementation phases. It's a 5 phase implementation. It is again, right. It has to do more with what you say. The standard implementation process. So I'm not going to go in detail here. It's planning, configuration, testing, and deployment, and obviously we have monitoring and governance, which is like the key part of any project management. Then we have uh, emergent benefits, right? What are we looking at? We are looking at increased staff participation because we have more data, more alerts, more stimulus, right? So we have employees reported higher morale and lower absenteeism because they felt as if they are being taken care of. Prescription of fair and transparent scheduling system. This is very prevalent when you have like overtimes and stuff. For example, if overtime is supposed to is considered as a premium, and if you have a fair and easier way of allotting that overtime, um, you are doing a job very, what do you say, in a just manner. So as long as that process is transparent, everybody's happy. And then we have improving forecasting accuracy. Real-time data integration with BI tools enabled precise demand-based scheduling, a better alignment between workforce supply and operational demand. Say for example, if the season is bad, you can easily say that you have less sales. You can schedule less people for that, right? Things like that. And then you have instant compliance results, automated detections of violations, unauthorized overtime, and reduced post payroll reconciliation efforts. A good example for that is if you're working a very long shift, you are prone to do more errors, right? And say for example in California, if you work continuously and do not take a break or after 5 hours for a meal, and that's a violation of Department of Labor back in California. So these kind of rules have to be tracked and have to be reported out. And then you have the results and the KPI. We have a dramatic reduction in manual touch points and scheduling errors. This is the repetition of the earlier thing. And then we have substantial increase in workforce efficiency. Then we have higher compliance, and we have real-time visibility. A manager for a shift, for a department, for a location can easily see where his workforce is and what's the status, kind of a thing. It's more like a dashboard thing. And then we have improved user experience across HR, IT, and the other supervisors. Stakeholder insights. Um, we have the four primary stakeholders. We have the HR, we have the IT, we have the supervisors and operators, finance and payroll. Now, supervisors and operators are the primary ingesters of this because they interact with the system and they give their input and output. IT is again more of let's give the data quickly and accurately. It's more of providing data. Then you have HR teams. Now HR teams are again the one who control the policy of an organization, and then you have finance and payroll, which affects the employee. For example, the employee gets his benefits, the overtime, and everything. Um, and then we have challenges and lessons learned. We have user adoption gaps. So I have seen that it's difficult for anybody to or you for generally for users, right? For example, they have been used to one system, and then you say, "Hey, this is the new cloud system. Use it now," right? So uh, then the user is little I mean the user, especially the older users, right, who have been working for a long time, they resist change, and in 5 years they're supposed to retire and they don't want to have the headache of learning a new system right now, that's like one of the things that I have seen a lot. So initial user training was insufficient for frontline supervisors. Like I said, it depends upon age and it depends upon how much time they have available. It depends upon their background. Many of them are not like IT savvy. They are more they're good at their work. For example, you have plumbers, you have drivers, and they are good at their work, but they are not into like you know logging into a system and you know f- doing the whatever is required, make the changing and making the changes and stuff. And then you have management efforts need reinforcement to drive full utilization, right? Again, this goes back to the cost factor of things, right? How much change do you want? How fast do you want? How much money you want to spend on it? Then you have the API limitations. Now, Kronos work for Central APIs had rate limitations that affected real-time sync under peak loads. Again, right? It's an on-prem. It was an on-prem solution, and the data that you can get out of it into cloud had limitations, right? Because the amount of data and how much it's traveling over the from on-prem to cloud. And then it required load balancing and throttling strategies via Boomi because of again large data. Um, I have worked with major unions, and one of them being the UAW um, workers. I mean, so they have very strong encoding shift rules, mean penalties, and their rules change by the by the different regions, and they have very complex scheduling requirements. And it required a lot of collaboration between HR compliance and the IT teams, right? Because everything has to be coded and tested correctly. Data governance issues which I have faced is early stage discrepancies in employee IDs, shift codes, job classifications, and delayed rolled out. It was not uncommon to uh, for the PM to say that, hey, we are going to launch at a later time than what we have planned because uh, because of all the issues that we have faced from the different teams. Then it prompted the development of a unified master data management approach. Why? Because again, translation, right? For you, shift means something that starts from 9 to 5. For me, a shift means everything, every little thing. I mean, you take a break, you go for lunch, all that small segments in a format team. So you need a layer, something like a translation layer where you store the information and you do the translation and you ingest the data from there. So the lessons learned are the integration must be planned alongside policy, and it should align with policies, stakeholder readiness, including their backgrounds, and you have it should be highly scalable because there's a lot of data to be transported from one place to the other. Future, right? Again, we can put a map of AI. I mean, uh, c- the Kronos has already started working on it, but then it's only within the application. But we need to put up, AI mask on this from the integration with other systems also. Again, ERP integration. So with the ERP integration, we can find out all the lean. We can, what you say, the fat. We can take the fat out, and we can make the processes lean, right? And obviously we have compliance, automation, and auditing. This becomes more difficult when you have a company that's operating across different countries. For example, Europe has GDPR, We have SOX. We means the US has SOX compliance. Canada has its own. So we have to make sure that we are sharing data along with the compliance rules, scalable rollout, and then you have the most demanding the everything everybody wants on their mobile phone nowadays, right? So that's also there. Executive summary. This case study presents a scalable hybrid integration of Boomi and Workforce Central to streamline workforce management in a high-scale manufacturing environment. The solution addresses operational efficiencies stemming from disconnected HRIS, payroll, and scheduling systems. By leveraging Boomi's low-code cloud-native solution, we can have real-time data exchange, automated shift synchronization, and robust compliance tracking. The key outcomes included 40% improvement in schedule accuracy, about 20 to 30% reduction in compliance incidents, and 30 about highest decrease in system downtime because it's cloud, right? So cloud has less downtime, and then we have a significant drop in manual interventions because why mostly everything is automated. Conclusion. The integration of Boomi with Kronos Workforce Central marked a transformative milestone in workforce optimization for the different organizations by bridging the fragmented systems, HRIS, payroll, and scheduling. This hybrid architecture enabled real-time data sync between labor compliance and reduced manual intervention. The results are not only quantifiable in key process metrics, but also visible in enhanced employee engagement, managerial responsiveness, and IT efficiency. What began as a technical initiative evolved into an enabler of strategic agility. The reason why it evolved is because, again, we have more data to make more decisions. This case underscores that with right integration framework, organizations can achieve both operational excellence and foundation for intelligent, scalable human capital management. Thank you.